So I thought we would start with any questions you might have from what was covered last week. Did anything come to mind that you wanted to bring up, that you wanted to ask me? That you weren't sure
I don't
about?
have anything that came to mind, but the mirror, having a mirror with me all the time is kind of hard, but I do try and catch myself, like, when I'm running around at work, there's, like, one mirror, or I can catch my reflection. So I kind of like, "Oh," you know, kind of fix myself that way, but
Good. Yeah.
it's interesting, and the chewing is interesting. Um, but
Chewing as far
yeah.
as noticing if you're chewing on
Well,
one
just
plastic.
noticing. I mean, I do when I work with people for like coaching for nutritional therapy. I mean, I'm big on, make sure you chew properly and things like this, but at the same time, you don't realize like how often do you switch sides or how, just being more conscious of it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, because when you chew on one side, you're activating those muscles more, and then they're shortening up. They're
Yeah.
and then lifting the face, which can create some asymmetry.
Yep.
So the
That was
more you know,
interesting.
the more you know, right? And Paula, did you have any questions or
Yeah,
anything,
well,
any comments?
so that's a good reminder, Tanya, because I don't have a pedestal mirror, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll use a tiny mirror and prop it up, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I was mostly focusing on the exercises. So it was good. I actually, when I look at my phone, I feel it every time now. Like, so I'm like, ugh, trying to hold it out, but I did had a question if I was doing the wow one right, but we can, go into that or whatever. But it was good. It was kind of like, and I'd sometimes forget, like, oh shoot, I just went to the bathroom and I forgot to do my things or whatever. But I did on most days and interspersed throughout the day. So
A good little strategy is to put Post-it notes on your mirror.
that's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've never been doing this before, right?
Right. Right.
So to have a mental reminder can be difficult. So you need a visual reminder. That's
Mm-hmm.
why the mirror is helpful. And that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to follow you all the time everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but just to get that little glimpse of yourself. I remember a number of years ago, probably in my teen years, I'm very tall. I'm 6 feet tall, and
Yeah.
everyone around me is generally smaller than I am. So I would naturally kind of lean forward, hunch a little bit. And my dad would always bother me to like, put your shoulders back and he just aggravated me so much. And then I remember walking past, I think it was a shop display or something, but a window that was reflective. And I just looked and I saw what it looked like. I was like, oh my gosh, now I see what he's seeing, what everyone else is obviously seeing, but they're not telling me. And so I started to straighten up from that because you just
Mm-hmm.
recognize that, oh, okay, I get it now. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
realize it until you actually see yourself. And we don't walk around with things reflecting back to us all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just creating awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creating awareness. And that leads me to talk about the facial symmetry. Did you go through that little exercise where you could take, chopstick and kind of see where you're maybe higher or lower, asymmetrical?
Yeah, everything on the right side is just a little lower. I noticed like this eye is a little lower and like this mouth is a little lower. So that was interesting. But now I think I want to pay attention to how I'm eating and a few different things, like if that is this side stronger or I don't know. Because with this exercise, the cheeky lip, or what did you call that one?
Called it
Uh-huh.
tongue in cheek.
Tongue
Tongue
in
in cheek,
cheek.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like this occasionally will move with that one, like this little corner of my eye. So I don't know what that has to do with not this side, but just this side that's a little droopier. So
Mm-hmm.
not all the time, but
So I have a little
See, yours looks
modification I can
good.
show you
Mine
right
doesn't
now.
look that good when I do it.
Really.
Like,
It doesn't
That's
matter
my
what you look like
even
while you're doing
anything.
it. It's what you get after doing it, right? It doesn't matter what you look like while you're doing it. I was going to say though, Paula, are you a side sleeper?
Mhm.
Do you,
Sometimes I'm on my back, but yeah.
do you switch back and forth, like side to side, or do you have a predominant side that you sleep on?
I switch back and forth.
You
Probably my
do.
most natural is sleeping on my left side. Like that's how I ultimately fall asleep, but I do sleep on both. Sometimes I wake up on the right, and sometimes I know I'm on my back.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of all over the place.
Well, it's good that you're not on your front,
Right.
because when we sleep, we put a lot of pressure on our faces if we're on one side or on the other,
Mhm.
or on the front, right? There's a lot, our skulls are very heavy. So
Mhm.
there's a pillow, an ergonomically designed pillow that actually cradles your face. So that might be something to consider for the future, just so you're not continually putting pressure on the sides
Mhm.
of your face. Because there's different types of wrinkles. This gets me into a key topic for today. There's different types of wrinkles. There's expression wrinkles that show up when we express ourselves. So when you smile, it's natural to activate crow's feet. But as we get older and our skin changes and loses elasticity and loses collagen and all of this good stuff that allows the skin to bounce back, what can result is what are called static wrinkles. And static or static lines, wrinkles, lines, same thing. And they're the ones that stay after the expressions. So if you've got nasolabial, or if you've got prominent crow's feet that are always there, those would be your static wrinkles. And then there's sleep wrinkles, which I just referred to. So if you're mostly on one side, and if you, like when I do this, you can see I'm putting all this pressure on my face and I'm causing folding here and then around the mouth and even around the eye. So that if you're noticing asymmetry, start like paying attention to your habits, including your sleep habits, and recognizing when, try to ideally be on your back. But I know it's so hard. Just stay on your back the whole time. And
It's
then
possible though.
it's possible. Yeah, you can
It's
prop your
possible
knee.
because when I was in my 40s, I noticed it on my chest from sleeping on my side.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, it looks so old. And now I don't have that anymore because I sleep on my back. It is
Yeah.
possible
Yeah, good
to
point.
retrain
Because
yourself.
the neck, the chest, like all of that
Mhm.
folds upon
Yeah. It
itself when
like
you're
just
on your side.
wrinkled. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it gets very crepey.
Yeah.
Very
And I
crepey.
went at the time, I think I was only like 45 or 46. And I was like, no, I can't.
No
Or
way.
44 even.
That's good. So you figured it out.
Yeah. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. So I wanted to address today lifting, like naturally lifting the face. So as time goes on and our faces are changing and losing all these things that allow the face to bounce back and gravity is pulling down, we want to be able to lift naturally. And we're always like, you're never fully done, right? It's always a work in progress. So even though I've been doing this for a number of years, I still notice that when my face is relaxed, I see these lines here and like, oh, that doesn't look so nice. So I try to lift up from the inside with the muscles. So with that in mind, we'll go over the exercises from last week, but also cover ones like I'll give you adaptations for those, but really focusing on the lower face so that we're giving ourselves that natural lift. And I think it was Tanya, I'm not sure, Paula, I can't remember, but Tanya, I think you had mentioned too, you were concerned about eyes,
Oh, I just
like
feel that they're
hooded
a
eyes a
little
little bit.
more a little bit more hooded than they were, I mean, just everything. I don't think I really look bad for being almost 52. Nobody ever thinks I'm my age, But I mean, I'm just noticing things, you know, things are starting to droop a little. And you know, if I can
Yeah.
just do that, it's all fine.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know, I
just a
know.
little tiny bit. I mean, I definitely in the last 2, 3 years have noticed like the collagen reduction, you know, like I know that it's not, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll
So,
we'll work like week by week. We'll work starting at the lower face and we'll work our way up.
okay,
So we will get to the eyes, just not today. Yeah.
it's okay.
Let's do our
There's
little
other
demo
stuff.
right now. Let's do our little wrinkle demo right now. So take your piece of paper. This is kind of fun and also awareness building. Take your piece of paper and just crunch it up. It's full of like, let's crunch it. This nice pristine piece of paper, not a crease in it. Just crunch it up. And then try to restore it to its original form. Sort of flatten it out. Try to get it back to how it was. How are you doing with this? Is it looking like it did? Or does it look
Not
something?
really.
No. So this is just a simple demonstration. It's not this necessarily this bad with our skin, but just a little reminder that with the pressures that we put on our faces, with holding expressions, with this type of thing, over time, as I said before, those expression lines can become static lines. And these are like those static lines. So maybe put that in your bathroom on your mirror as a little reminder. Oh yeah, let's do some exercises for the face. So that's all you needed the paper for. But yeah, it could be a visual reminder for you too. I think that would be a good idea. All right. So let's just get right into some exercise. And we'll start with with the wow, which we did first last week. So for the wow, you're just basically dropping your mouth into an O shape and carefully wrapping your teeth with your lips, not with a lot of tension, just gently. And then saying, wow. And as you say, wow, wow.
Wow.
Of course, your mouth is getting bigger, your lips are stretching a little bit. Try to be aware of the activation of your cheeks. You can actually put your fingers there just slightly. And each time when you open up wide, I'm not seeing myself for some reason. Hold on. I'm seeing Tanya, and I'm very tiny.
Wow.
I'm not seeing myself. What is that? Just keep doing your rounds. Maybe I'll pin myself. There, that's better. Okay. As your mouth widens, so you're here, really try to have awareness of what your lips are doing. So they should be stretched out a bit because we're also simultaneously addressing any lip lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you can just find that position. And really try to flatten that out. And then your lips come around again. It's like they're kind of doing this. Are you getting that sensation?
When I go back to an O, my lips go wrinkly, but yours don't look wrinkly. Is that just the lighting?
Probably a little bit.
Mine go wrinkly.
Okay. Okay.
Try to, this is why wrapping them is helpful.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying. Now, you notice as I do this, my eyes are getting squinty. So what you, and if you're noticing the same with yourself, because we don't want one exercise to address something, yet simultaneously create problems someplace else. So this is what you can do. You can take your fingers kind of like shooting guns and kind of anchor your thumbs beneath your ears, and then have your index and middle finger at the edge of your eyes, just at the edge of your eyebrow there, your middle finger. And you can just give yourself a gentle lift so that when you're doing the wow, then here, I'll do it on one side and not the other. You see there's little creases there? Yet with the fingers there, those are prevented.
Mm.
How is that feeling? Yeah, I'm just watching you. You're good. Oh, I see. Someone's in the.
Okay, I'm on a call.
That's okay. First, I thought you were like, am I doing it right?
No, all of a sudden I see the dog's nose coming through the door and everything,
Oh.
and the door opening, and I'm like, what's going on?
No worries. How is that feeling with the anchoring like this?
Good. I think it's always
You have
easier.
to
I have a
almost-
mirror behind my tablet, and it's just easier when I do it in the mirror versus when I'm
I was
When you
just gonna
can't see
say, I
yourself.
think I need to do it in the mirror to know if that's better.
Yeah.
Because when I was practicing it earlier, I didn't really feel like there was too much eye play going on, and I was surprised by that. Because sometimes I do it when I'm driving or whatever, you know, and I'm not really looking in a mirror. And
Yeah.
but I think it definitely helps with the mirror.
Yes. Well, and the eyes get activated because they are this big ring muscle.
Mm-hmm.
They're connected to the cheek muscles, which are connected to the
My
mouth.
cheek muscles don't work.
And the cheek muscles are connected to the muscles of the mouth. So as you lift your corners of your mouth to smile, your cheeks go up and your eyes crinkle. It's natural. It's just the connectivity. But work with that one and really have that sensation of like, because that helps address these. I have these lines here that I don't like, and they're hard to get rid of. So, but that leads me into a new exercise that we can do, which is kind of fun. So it starts in a similar way. So with your mouth open, with your teeth are wrapped around your lips. Yeah, as though you're going to bite an apple, except your teeth are wrapped around your lips. And then you take your hand in a fist, and this part of your hand is going to be placed in your mouth. And then, sorry, I just need to pin myself again. And then what you do is you fill your cheeks with air. And then you release your hand and you let the air just come out. And as you're doing this, I'll explain. What you're doing is you're targeting nasolabial lines. You're probably also filling in with air the part behind your upper lip. And you're giving your cheek muscles an activation as well. So let's do that for a little bit, just so you get familiar with the sensation of it. It's kind of a funny one.
I feel like I'm adding like more tension to my neck back here when I'm doing that. Is that something that will like even out over time, or am I doing something wrong? You know what I
I wouldn't
mean?
say you're doing anything wrong. It's just you're doing something you haven't done before. So there's
Okay.
probably this activation here. So what you can do whenever you feel that your neck is getting tense, you can just take your fingers and give yourself a little bit of a neck massage. Also, a number of these you can do when you're lying down or when you're leaning back and your head is supported. I find that a number of the exercises that I do that involve the hands, I feel much more comfortable when I'm propped up. Because when your arms are up and they're holding your face in position or they're lifting here and there, they get tired. The muscles are working, and then they're creating that activation in the neck. So keep that in mind too. Like you could do this just sitting on your couch, laying back.
Like I don't
And
need
you
to add
can-
extra tension here right now.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So you could do it like right when you wake up in the morning or as you're falling asleep at night, or you're just relaxing,
Okay.
just so you don't have that added tension back here. Because I did speak last week about posture and having that proper alignment of your head on your neck and not wanting to, you know, create more of an issue where you don't need one. So how does that one feel?
Good.
Yeah, because that can help with these. And also it's the lower face, so we're helping with the lift. All right. Last week as well, we did the swan neck. So where you just tilt it back gently, pushing your chin forward. And it's not a super strong stretch. It's quite gentle, but there's definitely an activation there. And then turning to the side, same thing. When you're at the side, remembering to turn your mouth slightly in the same direction. And then the other side. And back to center. And having an awareness of your forehead. It's common with learning face yoga techniques to really concentrate, like, am I doing this right? And to activate the forehead, lifting the eyebrows and thinking. So try to have an awareness of that. And if you notice that your forehead is moving, what you can do, keep one hand just below your collarbone and the other hand just resting gently. There's not much pressure. And again, this is where your shoulders and neck can get tired, but just to ensure that your forehead doesn't move. And as you train yourself to keep your forehead at rest, then of course you don't need your hand there. Okay, but let's modify this ever so slightly. I want you to imagine you have like a pen tip, a little marker tip here at your chin. And what we're going to be doing is drawing circles with our chin. So it's not full head circles, it's just gentle going around. When you are kind of at 10 o'clock all the way around to 2 o'clock, have your chin forward slightly. So, and then relax it when you get down below to 6 o'clock. We'll do a few one way and then we'll go the other way. Let's change direction. And this is simply more, it's like the swan neck, but more fluid. It flows more. And again, if you notice your forehead is moving, you can place your hand up there so that it's no longer moving. You can also do like rainbows. So if you start at, say, 10 o'clock, around to 2 o'clock, and back. Or maybe more like 3 and 9. And keeping in mind that you're not tilting your head too far back. You're not going really far back. It's just a gentle tilt. So targeting these muscles down here. We don't want to forget our neck, because as Tanya said, you wake up one day and realize, my neck looks much older than the rest of me. How do those feel?
Sleeping on my back made a huge difference. It really did.
Yeah. So on that note, how did you train yourself to stay on your back?
You know,
Did you
I'm
go
not
to your
even
knees?
really sure. I purchased like this, they had this thing from France. I was in Switzerland. They had this thing I ordered from France that was supposed to be some sort of silicone film that you put on while you're sleeping to prevent that. And it was just hot and sticky and gross. And I don't know. I started being more aware and conscious. So if I woke up in the middle of the night and I noticed I was on my side, I'd roll back over and just kind of slowly, I haven't slept well in many years and I was in a bad marriage at that time and stuff. So I was up a lot. So it was easy to correct my posture.
Okay. So you've tried that silicone patch.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, for me, it didn't
Uncomfortable.
work maybe. And I'm not very, my chest isn't extremely large, but it was still enough weight on the side to cause like serious cramping. And I was just like,
Yeah.
so I think it was just being conscious of that and knowing I didn't want that. And like I said, I mean, I was in my early to mid 40s and it was like, oh, that's way too early to have that,
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And remembering too that your skincare should not end here at your jawline.
Absolutely.
Your skincare needs to come all the way down. And if you're in the sun, your sunscreen, your protection, your hat,
everything. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And hydration. Hydration
Yes.
is huge in general, but
right.
that's
Yeah.
probably
I live in a very dry climate. So yeah, I'm always feeling like I need to spritz my face or, like
Yeah.
hydrate
I
my
mean,
inside
Switzerland
out.
was really, really dry. Your sinuses, you felt it in your eyes, you felt in comparison to the Northeast. It's not,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
very little humidity there.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Paola, how was that one for you?
Good. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, okay. And then you have those modifications where you can just do the swan neck holding or doing the more fluid moves for that one. And again, you can do that lying down as well, so that you're propped up and not harming your neck.
Okay.
Just like if you have a pillow kind of placed just at the base of your skull, so that so it does allow for some tilt, but then the pressure of the weight of your head is not on your neck. Your neck is
Mhm.
being supported. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, what was the other one I wanted to do? Oh yeah, the cheeks. So lifting the cheeks. So we did tongue in cheek last week. This is to create this sense of awareness of the connectivity while also lifting. But what we'll try today is, again, we can anchor our faces so that we're not creating lines where we don't want them. We kind of anchor our faces. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be smiling, pulling the corners of the mouth up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then as a counter pose, trying to activate the muscle that's down here where these marionette lines can form. So the way to do that is to press your lips together, like just have your lips together at rest. And then apply gentle pressure to your lips. Actually, put your fingers right here and you'll notice the muscle. So gently together, and then apply pressure. The cheeks will go up, but just to activate this here. Can you feel that?
Mhm.
So we'll do that as a counter pose. So we will do the smiling, so we don't get too many crow's feet. And you can even lean your elbows. If you have a table in front of you, do you have a table in front of you?
I don't.
You could lean your elbows on the table. You don't need to have a table, but if you do. So smiling, we'll do 10. So let's start. And then we'll hold like that for 5 seconds. So ready? And then hold for 5. And back to smiling. And then press lips. And we'll just continue in that interval for a little bit, just to get used to it. You can try to smile as quickly as you can. Let's do one more round. And release, and just do a few wows, gentle wows. just as a counter exercise. Are you feeling your cheeks?
A little bit.
They're warming up. All right. So this leads us into the awareness of that tongue posture inside the mouth. Did you experiment with that a little bit, where I talked about having like the tip of your tongue is just behind your teeth, and then you try to press it to the roof of your mouth? Did you experiment with that a little bit last week, from last week?
Not much.
So if you think about it, the tongue is a very active muscle. It's a very strong muscle. And it's got some like density to it, you could say. So when it rests at the bottom of the mouth, it naturally applies pressure down there and will push the mouth open a little bit, right? And pull the face down. So if you do that, put your tongue at the bottom of your mouth and then lift it to the roof of your mouth, you'll feel that distinction. So just see what it's doing, it's pulling down. And then at the roof of the mouth, I know it's kind of hard. If you think of saying the letter N, and where your tongue hits, the tip of your tongue hits behind your teeth, when you say that, and then trying to bring your tongue up to the roof and trying to flatten it out up there. It helps to lift up the cheeks, but you do also have to pull the corners of the mouth up a little bit. And if you attempt to have that as your resting facial posture, like, where's my tongue right now? Oh, I put it at the roof of my mouth. It helps to lift the cheeks, gives you a happier expression on your face. And your brain doesn't know whether you're happy or not, but the smile, that gentle smile, helps release happy chemicals in your brain. So it will have this effect on your mood just by having your tongue up there and smiling. And you know what RBF is? We all know what RBF is. No, Paula, you haven't heard of RBF?
I don't think so.
Tanya, have you heard of that?
No.
Resting bitch face.
Oh. Yeah.
That
Mine's
face,
great.
it just happens, right? Like you're thinking or you're whatever, your face isn't activated and it falls and it looks unhappy. When I've been teaching kids, sometimes I don't realize it and they'll say, "You look so serious." I'm like, "Oh." And I just put my tongue back to the roof of my mouth and reactivate my lower face so I don't look quite so serious, as they say. Just again, be cognizant of what your forehead is doing. So just because your cheeks go up, make sure your eyebrows aren't going up as well. Okay. But trying to just find that resting tongue posture at the top of your mouth. Inside of the workbook, there's a page on it, or there's a page on posture. So upper body posture with your back, but also your tongue. So you can have a look. There's a graphic in there that shows what it looks like. Because it's something we don't generally think about, but it's very, very impactful. And there's an exercise called mewing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you've heard of it, mewing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially where you're kind of pushing your tongue up and down, up and down. And it can help with the jaw, it can help with the double chins, and do some refining down there. And of course, with the cheeks. All right. So Since we've been activating quite a bit, let's take a little bit of moisturizer or oil, whatever you have, just a teeny bit. Just warm it up in your hands, your fingertips. And we'll just start at the bottom of the face, pressing, not pulling, just pressing into the skin. You may notice that the muscle along here might feel a little bit tight. But definitely you should be starting to notice that there's a difference between kind of the fleshy areas and where the muscles are. And we'll go around the mouth, down to your chin, pressing along those lines that can form here, the lines around the nasolabial area. And then we will go around the cheek toward the nose and then back out around, just pressing. Just a nice little simple massage at the end. So not doing any kind of pulling. And come back around the mouth, back along the jaw. Paula, you mentioned tightness in your jaw.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get here, just beneath your ears, if you do gentle circles right here. Have you tried that before?
Probably, but that's a great reminder.
Yeah. And you can even just press and hold right there. And then just move back. And we can even do like a rolling action where, so my index fingers are going to apply pressure first and then roll out. Go around those areas like that in a rolling action. So not pulling, just press and roll. This helps to stimulate blood flow while also relaxing the muscles that we were using. And activated blood flow helps to stimulate collagen, natural collagen. Oops. And even down the neck gently. And down to the top of the shoulders. Just kind of moving back and forth in that area. Top, just right here. Coming down to your collarbone. Gently pressing there. You can lightly sweep down the neck. Really light pressure to your collarbone. And this supports the movement of lymph fluid, which can get stuck in the face and create puffiness. So if you've got certain pockets of puffiness, it could be that you've got stuck lymph. And this helps to release because it doesn't drain itself. It needs help for draining. So this is a nice way to end. And you can even do a bit of tapping too. Tap, tap, tap. Always feels good. Feathery light touch. Going over the face. Over your mouth. And I will leave you with a fun little thing that you can do to start bringing awareness to your forehead. And this also helps bring a little bit of moisture. But all you do is you take a little slice of cucumber. And I've had this just sitting in a little bit of water so it wouldn't dry out during our lesson here. And just place it right here. Let it stick right here. Hopefully it'll stay there. And just probably do this at home, not when you're going out. Just to create that sense of awareness, because as soon as you start moving, it's going to fall off. A little baby slice of cucumber there to train the forehead so that it's not becoming, so that it's not as active as it perhaps has been in the past. Because if you've got horizontal lines up there, you want to start to diminish them. And a way to diminish them is just to start deactivating the muscle, relaxing the muscle. So I know this looks fun, right? A little cucumber challenge. All right. So just a little recap. We talked about the different types of wrinkles, the expression, the static, the symmetrical, and the sleep wrinkles, to start just knowing for yourself what it is you have and starting to figure out, doing some detective work to figure out what might be contributing to those. Don't stop smiling. We reviewed the exercises from last week and we have built upon those. So you've got some variations, and we're really focusing on this lower lifting without overactivating the upper part of the face. And we did our little demo of the skin. And yeah, we went through a little routine there. So do you have any questions before we close for today, for this week?
Is it just the same as, sorry.
No, go ahead.
As far as like practicing, just do the same 3 from last week and then add the new 3-ish. I wrote down 3 if I got them all.
Yeah,
we just...
and then we've got the little bit of tapping and the little bit of gentle massage work. Yeah, because we're really trying to create this understanding of the muscles here and how they are connected in the lower face so that we can start to lift.
Okay.
Yeah, and addressing the neck area as well. Yeah, so you can do those. You can modify, like if you want to do this one, instead of smiling, you can alternate between those, find where you're most comfortable. Sometimes you might be out somewhere and you want to do your face yoga and you don't want to stick your tongue out, so you just want to smile. Yep. And Tanya, did you have a question?
It was basically a similar question. I just wanted to know about the modifications, like when we were doing the swan neck and modifying it, if we could just, do we need to do all of them, or can we just choose whichever one's best at that day or that moment, or maybe mix it up?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, mix it up. Try to start creating just this little routine for yourself. So you've got this easy flow that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah. While, understanding what else is going on and why certain things are showing and all of that. Have you, so inside of the workbook, that reminds me, there's a tracking sheet. that you can?
I have to print out the workbook today. I had to go get an ink cartridge this morning. I was out. I just work better with an actual hard copy
Oh, I see. Yeah,
than always like looking on my phone or whatever.
yeah.
So I didn't fill it in last week. It was actually kind of a busy week at work,
Mhm.
and I'd be in the bathroom trying to do my thing, but I'd get paged and I'd have to run out or do whatever. So I think I
Mhm.
consider this week the first real week. Like last week was just trying to remember to do it. So I'm
Yep.
hoping that this week will be a little bit better.
This is what happens. It's just forgetting because it's something new, right?
Yeah, you've got to create a habit. So it's just going to take
Creating
a
the
little
new
while.
habit.
Yeah.
Yes. So whatever you can do to have little visual reminders, like I suggested, stick that crinkly piece of paper somewhere, and that could be a reminder to stop and do some exercises. This type of thing,
Mhm.
just to keep yourself like going, building a bit of momentum and some regularity with it. And two, when you're at rest, when you're relaxing, when you're falling asleep, like you could be doing some things at that time as well, just
Yeah.
to ensure that you're getting it in. But I'm trying to give you exercises that you can pretty much do anywhere and on the go, and in your private.
I mean, they're great to do in the car, actually, a lot of them. I'll
Yes.
try and get them in the morning, or like if I'm sitting in traffic, I'm sure people probably think I'm nuts, but that's okay. I don't care.
Yeah, you'll never see them again.
Exactly. So
They
it
might
doesn't
just think
matter.
you're singing in the car. Everybody does that. Yeah. And hydration, of course, getting your water in. I think, Paula, was it you that mentioned drinking lots and lots, that you had never drank so much hot water? I think
Yeah,
in
well,
the
I haven't been actually drinking a ton of hot water. I often drink herbal tea, so I was like, does that count? I would think, but I didn't know if the hot water specifically does something different than with
It
Well,
herbs
depends
and,
on the tea.
right, you know, that's what I would
Some
and
think.
teas, some herbals, people think, oh, I'm drinking herbal tea, but some herbal teas are actually diuretics, in which case they're dehydrating.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not really getting any hydrate. They taste good, and you might be getting some benefits from them, but sometimes they're actually dehydrating. So you almost have to counterbalance with more water.
Mm-hmm.
So
are there
But
ones,
apart from that,
uh, the fact that, our regular body temperature
mm-hmm,
lower than most of the water that we drink. So our body has to work really hard to warm it up. So when you drink it when it's already warm, it
mm-hmm,
integrates more easily,
mm-hmm.
and it helps
Yeah,
with
that makes sense.
that hydrating from the inside. I was going to ask Tanya, because you're a nutritionist, you're both nutritional people.
Mm-hmm.
Are there teas that you would say absolutely are no-nos in your
well, I
experience?
would say, I mean, definitely any kind of stinging nettle or anything with stinging nettles in it, or anything that you know is going to be something that's going to help you get rid of water. Um, Peppermint tea is actually dehydrating. I it really depends on, because if she's doing a blend or a mix, it could be things that kind of balance each other out. Um, but I mean, just depends on what you're drinking,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
really, and the
I put a teeny
combination.
bit of lemon in my water, usually. You can also put cucumber in your water. It's
Mm-hmm.
always, though hot cucumber.
I know it sounds strange, but I really enjoy drinking a hot cup of water.
Mhm.
People think
It's
I'm kind of
soothing.
like, they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I do. I like it.
yeah.
It's I'm not a big tea drinker anyway.
And,
And I don't always want to have coffee or something. So
well,
I
and
usually
coffee
only
is
have
very
one small
dehydrating.
coffee. Yeah. And I'll make one in the morning, and I don't even think I drink a half of it. It's just something about the smell helps me wake up, but I don't even need the caffeine or anything.
Mhm.
Um, but sometimes I want something warm, and I'll just have hot water.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I'm really bad with my hydration. That's like very bad being a nutritionist, or working in the nutrition field. I mean, that is my struggle, is when I get busy, I don't stop to drink or eat or whatever, and it's not good,
Mhm.
especially getting older, just hitting menopause, things like that. I mean, I need to be more mindful of all of that. But
All the things, I know. Yeah.
yeah. And of course, I mean, like anything, it's cyclical. You have moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I really haven't done very well lately with that. And then you do better. And then it comes back that you have a few days where you're bad with it. And, that's fine.
Yeah, this is why tracking is really good,
Yeah.
to have those visual reminders and to feel that sense of satisfaction. I did it. Yes. Because there in the workbook, there's also a hot water tracker that you can print off like for a week, and then you could reprint it if you wanted to. But once you,
Mhm.
usually the idea is that once you have done something for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks
Exactly.
ish,
It's a habit.
it sticks. Yeah. But
Yeah.
not always. I find that I need a few more than just 3 weeks.
I agree.
But yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here live. This is a good time.